Hi guys, how's it going? My name is Jamie, welcome back to another video. So let me first start off by saying happy holidays to everyone, happy Christmas, and I hope you have a great new year. So basically this is just a quick introduction video to speaking about the sport that I shoot quite the most, which is PRS. I've been asked quite a bit by people who are interested in the chassis and just interested in shooting in general, but what is PRS exactly? And let me start off by saying that I'm no expert, but for me, what PRS is without using some of the trigger words, it's a sport that can be very varied. You have different targets, different shapes, different distances, and you're shooting from different props and stuff like that. So it can be very fun, very challenging, and it's different to your usual static bench rest or prone rifle shooting. So as you've seen before, this is my PRS rifle. This is a CZ457 in a Alpha Kilo Accord Delta 22 chassis with the internal weight system, external weight system, and a Vortex Razor HD 6-36 on top with a worn bipod. Let me start off by saying that this is by no means an entry point into the sport. So to get into this sport and to see if you'd like it, first of all, will be the main thing before you start spending money on the sport. What I would recommend you do is go to your local range, visit, and have a chat with some of the guys, see a couple of matches, ask to shoot some of the rifles, see what you like, see what you don't like. For any people who don't have a rifle yet and you're interested in buying a rifle to get into the sport, like that again, you don't have to start with anything major. Like this rifle here started its life as a CZ LRP. Straight out of the box, I slapped a scope that was a couple €100 on it and off I went shooting. You can do that with any sort of 22 bolt action rifle. The only thing I would recommend is if you are going to get a scope, make sure they're external thirds. So external thirds, what I mean is, so you've the twist knot and skip knot, and you've straight away you've access to dialing your scope instead of having a capped turret that you have to squeeze on and squeeze off. After that, get yourself a bipod, get yourself a bag, and everything else will come in time. Get yourself some different types of ammunition and start shooting. That's what I recommend before you start going away into some of the fancy stuff that I'll show here in a minute. And like that, as I said, anybody at the range will be more than happy to help. I think out of all the sports I've ever done in my life, and not just talking about shooting sports, but PRS and the people who shoot PRS are by far the most friendly people that you'll ever come across. And you ever ask them if you need to borrow any of their kit, be it a bag, be it even some phone, if you ask them can you use their rifle, they'll more than happily oblige. So let me show some of the stuff that I have gathered and some of the stuff that I would say that once you start going down this route, this is some of the stuff that I would be buying personally myself. So this is an Armageddon Gear medium bag. You will use a bag like this in probably 99% of the stages you shoot. It's quite common, and you use it as a front bag and it'll sit right under here, or you use it and it'll be your rear bag that'll sit under the buttstock of the rifle itself. Some of the other stuff that I've gathered and some stuff that I will say that is definitely a need or not need is get yourself a pen and paper, a little notebook like that, write your dopes into it, anything that you need. Just keep track of your data, see what works for you, see what doesn't work for you, and if you find that something that doesn't work, note it, come back to it, see where the fault lies. Might be some discrepancy with whatever app you're using. Some more other pieces of gear is rangefinder. Doesn't have to be anything madly expensive, something that's going to range you accurately out to a couple hundred yards and you're golden there. A set of quick little set of tools that I have just for adjusting scopes, making sure everything is torqued correctly. Pair of binoculars, always handy. Always have your ear pro, and this this is something that is more so a nice to have rather than a need to have, which is my Garmin chrono, which I use before the start of every match. And I just use it to just quickly check and make sure that all my speeds are good and all my data that I've input is good too. When I'm talking about data inputs and your apps and stuff like that, I'm talking about apps that you have on your phone where you're inputting your rifle, your barrel length, your twist rate, you're inputting your ammunition to what exact ammunition you're using, what speeds you're using, and then it'll calculate some data for you depending on how far your target is, what wind comes into it, stuff like that, and it'll spit you back up what you need to dial into your scope. For me, once again, another piece of equipment that I said, like, too expensive, don't need it after it, but for me it was a case of I wanted to have rather than I needed to have. It's my Garmin watch where I've all my data dialed in, and it'll spit me back out of my watch. So like that, as I said, there is nice to haves, but at the end of the day, get yourself a basic rifle, just take a scope on it with exposed turrets, and just get yourself some different types of ammunition, get out shooting, see what ammunition suits you, and crack on and have some fun with it. Sorry, I know this video is probably longer than I intended it to be, but if you guys have any questions, please, by all means hit me up. Fire your message into the guys. They'll by all means pass them back onto myself, and next time we get a bunch of questions, good to go, we'll make another video on that. So thank you very much guys, and have a safe new year. Much love, peace.